And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. It has been something like 4 months, I believe, before I just did a live stream on the main channel. So if you have a question, this is how it's going to work. You're going to call this number right here. I'm only going to do a few calls today. So if you have a question, go ahead and get in the queue. Until then, I am going to talk about why your ads are not working, whether that is Facebook ads, door hangers, etc. I'm going to go on a bit of a 5-10 minute a bit of a teaching training session on that, and then we will jump right into questions. So let's go ahead and make sure this is all up and running correctly. Fantastic. All right. So if you have a question, 361-733-3332 is the number. While I am going on and talking about this, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat too. So here we go. 361-733-3332. Call in with questions. I'm going to put this in the comments. So if you have one, go ahead and get in queue. I'm going to take several today. Call in with questions. Boom. All right. And now I'm going to make sure that actually gets pinned. Oh, I can't pin. Fantastic. Oh, I can. Look at that. Okay. If you have a question, call this number right here, and let's go ahead and get started. But first, before we do the live calls, I do want to go over why your ads are not working. So this is going to get cut up later. So I'm going to show you kind of the behind the scenes of making a video, and then I don't have notes or anything. I'm just going to talk to you about a topic I've been thinking about. And then again, if you have questions in the on your phone, 361-733-3332 is the number. If you've been wondering why your Facebook ads, your Google ads, your door hangers, or your yard signs are not working, I want to explain what I learned the hard way and how you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of time just doing it the right way from the get. And one of the things that I have learned is that it was never a matter of whether or not something worked. It was simply the volume and the amount of energy that I put towards it. And so recently I was looking at our Facebook ads account that had over 130 different types of ads. Not different types of variations, but different types of ads. Now, each of those ads have probably 5 different headlines, 5 different copy. So you could make the case for the fact that if you multiply it by 25, there's probably like 3,000 variations of ads. I'm not talking about that. There was over 130 different actual ad creatives, different videos with different descriptions, completely different ads. And this is not something I've done forever. This is a matter of over the past few months just realizing that if it works decently and the math pencils in, just do more of what's already working. And I, along with many other entrepreneurs, including yourself, likely we get distracted by the constant new thing. And recently, as of recording this, actually, Equip Expo is on for the lawn care and landscape industry, basically showing a lot of the new technology, new equipment, new trucks, new machines that are mowers, etc., that are in this industry. And it's very easy to go to an event like that and just get enamored with all the new stuff. And what I have found after so many years of having to beat myself up and tell myself to shut up in terms of all the new ideas and new things I want to implement is that almost never has new ideas made my business more profitable. Almost never has new ideas in the short term allowed for the business to be more successful. In the short term, for allow my managers to be able to be more successful, the team to be able to be better at their job and more efficient. And the reason for that is because as entrepreneurs, we have been rewarded in the past for doing something new. We left our job, I left medical school. But once you've made the decision to start a business, you just need that new thing one time. You just need to switch one time. And it's exciting. And you get a lot of pats on the back on LinkedIn and Instagram and on Facebook when you're like, I'm going to go start my own business. And you're like, support. Everyone's like super happy for you. But that's the only time you actually need to start something new. The vast majority of the most profitable home service businesses that I see are the ones that simply execute better. They don't try to do anything fancy. They just execute 1% to 2% better on every little thing in the business. And if you take 100 different things in the business, all done 2 to 3% better than everyone else, it compounds the fact that I get 2 to 3x multiple or 2 to 3 times more return than the average person that's just getting started. And the reason there is so much switching cost in home services to doing something new is because we are dealing with labor, which is the most expensive thing. Like for you to divert a time and attention of your team away from something they're already doing, they're in the rhythm of, they know how to do it, and you change the process, you change the system. Now we're going to do this new service. Now I want you guys to answer the phone this way. Now this is a new initiative, new software, new equipment, or new truck setup, new trailer setup. Like every time you implement something new, it is reducing the effectiveness and the efficiency of your team, because there's already inherent advantages of them doing the same thing so many times. And so execution has consistently, in my career, been the thing that I have seen be the thing that actually brings profits. New things might add more revenue, new services, new equipment, new employees, new markets, new industries. They will bring more revenue, but rarely do I see it actually bring more profit. And this goes back to a saying Alex Hormozi always talked about, which is more and better before new. And I want to break that down, because the reason that your ad campaign is not working is simply because you're not doing enough of it. And when I say you, I'm talking to myself in the mirror. Literally, there's a mirror. Like I have this glass thing. I can see myself right now. I'm talking to myself because over the past few months, I've realized that for Facebook ads, it's like if the math pencils and I'm able to acquire a customer and get that money back within 30 days of them transacting with me, I should keep doing more of it. And the reason I say this is because I have seen consistently where business owners have something that's working well on their ad campaign. For example, I'll give an example of one of the owners at Augusta Lawn Care out in Texas, that he realized that this is like, oh, the math works for door hangers. And he did several thousand, like they worked. Oh, okay. I should just do this one thing tens of thousands of times. And I think last time he messaged me, he had done something like 120,000 door hangers this year. He started a new market, new area, and all he's been doing is door hangers because he just knows the math. He's like, if I do X amount of doors, I'll get X amount of leads. And if I get X amount of leads, I'll close X amount of people. And out of those people, I will be able to upsell X amount of them. It's just a math game. And I would ask yourself, if yard signs worked, what would happen if you 10x them? It's likely that you have 10x the output. And so if door knocking is working, if door hangers are working, if Facebook ads are working and they're producing, okay, well, I get one new lead for $30 and 1 out of 3 of them convert to a paying customer. Okay, great. Your customer acquisition cost is $90. Okay, and all of those people, I'm able to sell a recurring service, but also I'm able to upsell them into a one-time service up front that I'm able to make $500 in revenue and $200 in profit. So I get $200 in profit, $90 customer acquisition cost. The math pencils. Just do more of it. Just do more and do it better before going and trying to find something new. And so instead of us 10xing our marketing budget in one area, what we will do, and I include myself in this as entrepreneurs, is we'll go find 9 other ways to spend the marketing dollars. Oh, like what about if I do this new texting thing? What if I go out and do every door direct mail and postcards? What if I do this new strategy where I have billboards? What if I do, like, I change the graphics on the truck and there's a board above the trailer? Like, all of those might be good ideas, but because you've spread yourself out so thin across different marketing channels, you never actually see the real reward, which is if I 10x the input and I know what this channel produces, the output will 10x. And there's some areas, like, for example, Google Local Services, you won't 10x your budget and get 10x the output. Why? Because it's constrained by the amount of leads that it will give to you. It's not going to just immediately 10x and use all of your budget. But in markets that you are interrupting people, like Facebook ads, like door hangers, like yard signs, like cold calling, a lot of places you do 10x input and you just simply run an arbitrage on the math and you get 10x the output. And so if the math pencils, just do more and do it better. So more part is simply identifying that I have a channel that I know the math, and is it perfect? Is there going to be a new channel that will pop up and immediately I see ads about running Google ads and how I can get leads for $5, and then I get all these ideas when I read a book or I read a podcast or I go to a conference. You get all these ideas. Like, look, just take the one thing that you actually know the math on and just do more of it, and then by doing more of it, you almost always will become better at it. You will see what works. You'll see what hooks work. You'll see what pictures work on the ads. You'll see what videos work on ads. You'll realize that if you're doing a yard sign, that having a fancy picture might not actually convert better besides just plain text on a white background. Or that when you do the door hanger, if you put the price and you cross it out, you get a 5% bump on the amount of people that respond. This is something that, because we do so many door hangers at Augusta, and like we consider a sample of door hangers in a market 5,000. Like Anything below that is, you're just shooting like in the dark. But 5,000, I can have a test. But when I do that test, and when we have done thousands, hundreds of thousands of door hangers now across Augusta, we started to start doing better. It's like, oh, if we put the price of their lawn service on there, it does better. Oh, if we use an actual Sharpie instead of just printing the price on there, it does better because they feel like it's more customized. Oh, if we cross the number out and then write it in Sharpie over top of the old price at a discount, increases our conversion rate. That is better because of new. So the nuance I want to add to this is, yes, more and better before new. But I truly believe it is in that sequence, which is do more. And by doing more and simply keeping your eyes open and your ears open over the course of a long period of time, not a month, not 2 months, over the course of a couple seasons, to be able to know the seasonality behind that marketing channel. And then by seeing those trends and then being adaptive and listening, you will do better. You will make the tiny little tweaks. Because, see, when I first did a door hanger, I might have gotten a 0.2% response rate. Not great. Door hangers are horrible. Or over the course of the past 3 or 4 years, like we have constantly made these little tweaks, now it's 1%. That's 5 times better. So it's not that I needed a new marketing strategy. I just needed to get better. And in order to get better, I needed to do more and have higher volume. And so I encourage you, if you think that ads don't work, if you think that the only way that you get customers is through word of mouth, if you think that Facebook ads are dead, or YouTube ads are dead, or Google ads are dead, or door hangers don't work in my market, or postcards don't work in my market, or flyers don't work in my market, I ask you, how many have you done? Can you do more? And when you do more, can you constantly tweak and adjust and make it better? Because I can guarantee you, in the long run, that will outperform you constantly switching from one marketing channel to the next and hearing a video about some other new channel, new platform. Oh, it's all about doing these, what are they called? Postcard bombs. Okay, 9 rounds. Okay, now we're doing I heard about yard signs. We are now doing yard signs. And again, you take all of your resources and spread them across all these different channels and then wonder why you don't have any return. The reason you don't have any return is you've never done more in any one channel. You've never done enough volume to be able to get good at it better. And therefore, you just constantly go from new to new to new, always looking for the lucky break that's going to somehow give you all the results that the people behind the camera you've watched or the ads you've seen are promising. And here's the thing. They might be right. They might get really cheap leads. They might be able to reach those results in terms of customer acquisition cost, cost per click, cost per lead, etc. They might. But they've likely done it tens of thousands of times and for many, many years. And so the results they're having is not because of the new channel. It's because they've done more of it than you. And because of them doing it more for years and years and years, they've got better at it. And you take the same channel and you put someone who hasn't had the reps and has not got better at it, and something like our door hangers that go from 0.2% response to 1% response is simply a function of doing enough volume and then being and listening enough and being curious enough to how can I improve this process and thereby have better execution. And all of a sudden, a bad channel starts to look good. Okay, we're opening up the phone lines. I'm going to take the calls that are in the queue. Let's go ahead. Bear with me. I'm running this by myself today. First caller, I believe, is coming in from Troy, Michigan. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Mike, thanks for taking my call, man.
Absolutely. What can I do for you, man?
I just had a question. So I do mowing and snow removal, and we do landscaping, but I don't really enjoy the landscaping. And I was just curious, like, would you ever have a location where you're doing mowing, but you're not doing like mulching and bush trimming? Is that possible to make that work?
Yeah, like the question just becomes like, is there a business that is the size that you want that does this only the one service that you're trying to offer? And so if in your market there are businesses that do $1 million or $2 million, and you're like, I would love to have that size of business, and they just do mowing, it means it's possible. And so in terms of possibility, it's there. I will also say it comes down to what your goal is. If you're trying to sell a business, I would probably optimize for the valuation. And if you're trying to optimize for the valuation, having those more simple recurring services with recurring revenue and with a lot of upsell potential into simple services is probably going to sell a lot more than you doing custom projects.
I did about 90,000 in mowing and about 30,000 with the other services. And what I was thinking of doing is just doing the doing the mulching and bush trimming and stuff like in April when we're not mowing. And then over the winter, we would still do like winter services and snow removal, and we still do fall cleanup and spring cleanup. But I just find that it's really hard. Like during the summer, I get so busy with mowing, and then people are calling and asking us to do like projects, and I get overwhelmed, you know?
Yep. Yeah. So this is actually more of a scheduling problem. I think the overwhelm doesn't come from the fact that you're doing complicated projects. It sounds to me like you're actually doing simple projects, and I'm a green light on those. I think what more of is you are scheduling those projects at a time when mowing is at its peak. I would reserve those times to where you're not going to put as many budget hours for projects during the season that you know is going to have a ton of mowing. And so this comes down to prioritization, like having a first come first serve basis when it comes to scheduling is the weak link here. And I would actually recommend to not get rid of your landscaping, because it's the thing that's actually allowing you to upsell your mowing customers and increase their annual customer value by 50 to 80%. So I don't want you to get rid of it. I think it's simple enough. Right. I think it's great. I think what we need to do is we need to ask ourselves, what weeks of the year do we know there are leads pouring in for mowing and I'm super busy and the grass is growing like crazy and I don't get to the projects because I'm way behind? And then simply don't put projects on there, and just reserve those weeks for the time that you're going to focus on new and recurring services that are time sensitive. And so the trouble that we have in Spring Rush, when you have time sensitive jobs like mowing, and you really want them because they're recurring, but at the same time, you're throwing in jobs that are one-time jobs, and they are time insensitive. So you can push a mulch install off 3 to 4 weeks. You can install gravel or install plants 6 to 8 weeks from now. It's just going to have to be a different sales motion and sales process to convince the customer to still stick with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And this
awesome.
This actually plays into your benefit, because what happens when you start putting designated times of the season where you're not taking projects, you then preclude that by texting and emailing all of your customers and saying, hey, we are booked out now for 8, 9, 10 weeks. We do have next week available, and you do this like earlier, but before you're booked out and you need work, when you're actually wanting the work in February, March, right after the snow's melted off and you're getting back into mowing, but there's a bit of a gap there, that's when you contact all your customers and say, hey, we are booked out super far, but we're reserving the next couple of weeks just for our existing mowing customers. If you have any services, let us know. Any projects you need done, we're reserving this next couple of weeks for you alone.
Okay. So yeah, it's really a scheduling thing. I get it. Awesome. Best of luck to you. Appreciate you calling in. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Next caller is coming in. By the way, if you call in and I cut you off, i.e. just drop your call, don't be offended. It's just a matter of sometimes like the end part is not super interesting for people to listen to us say goodbye to each other. I still love you. I just want to keep things moving along and easier to listen to. Next caller is calling in from 717. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mike. Thank you. You're awesome. So I wanted to ask you right now, house cleaning business, residential house cleaning, just standard and deep cleanings right now. We're trailing for 4.4, just 4,400 monthly revenue. Last month we did 5.8 monthly revenue. Right now, having a bit of a problem with our lead channels. Google LSA, we did like $1,200 and had like a horrible customer acquisition cost. But Thumbtack gave us a 1 to 9 over the series of 5 months. And then we just started with Facebook about 2 months ago, and we have like a 1.85 to 1. So we're not doubling on Facebook, but obviously it's only been 2 months, so we'll see what happens. Pretty low conversion ratios on Facebook. So I'm putting in another 1,000 this month into Facebook. And really just want to grow this thing and close more deals. Cool. Curious what you think about that.
Yeah. First off, just to confirm, what's your revenue for 2025 looking like, gross revenue?
Not even tracking. Honestly, we started about 6 months ago. We did like 1.3K in revenue, and then last month we did 5.8, and then this month we're projected for 4.4.
Okay.
I don't have the full.
So you're doing somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a month. Is that correct?
We're around 5K.
Cool. So it sounds like you've tested a little bit. Back to kind of what we talked about at the beginning, the thing that I immediately want to talk about, and I question when people start giving me metrics, is how much have you done on Facebook? How much have you done on Thumbtack? How much have you done on LSA? And then did we optimize it, right? Because I know that your Facebook ads, let's just say you're saying, hey, I got a 2X there versus like 4X on Thumbtack. Okay, great. Is that based on conversion? Is that based upon like the lifetime value of a customer coming from one channel being greater than the other? Because I know that, for example, go ahead. You sound like you have more data. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's lifetime gross profit. So across the last 4 months, like Thumbtack has given us a 1 to 9. So for what we're spending, it's customer acquisition cost, lifetime gross profit. For what we're spending on Thumbtack, we're turning it 9 times. Then with LSA, it was like 0.8. Like we actually lost money on LSA, and this is with about $1,500 across each channel. The $1,500 in ad spend across each channel.
Yep. So I would just, if what's currently working is Thumbtack, I would 100% do it. I think there are some risks to doing that because all of your leads are somewhat second sourced from someone else and they can be marketed to separately. Like that's like a long-term thing. But at your size, like originally when I thought you were saying you were doing like 5 million revenue, and I was going to be like, big warning on Thumbtack. But when you're just getting started and you're going from 5,000 a month to 10,000 to maybe 20,000 a month, if that's the best customer acquisition cost and where great leads are coming from, just double down on it. Like if you can get 1 to 9 in one spot and the other one's 1 to 2, like just do more of what's working. And by doing more Thumbtack, you'll probably get better at it. Like you'll probably get more reviews. You'll probably have a higher conversion rate. And just know that I would say I would test Facebook again. I would test door hangers again down the road. Because as you scale, I do think there's a risk to being channel dependent on a source like Thumbtack.
Yeah, I think about like the nail it and scale it model, and I've almost completely turned off Thumbtack, and I'm really trying to get Facebook to work. I'm doing about just 300 a week, but it's kind of like the lead nurture aspect, even with automation, it's kind of hard to get them to show up sometimes on the sales calls. So I'm doing like 50 calls a day, and I might get a one sales call performed. You know what I mean? And
so when you're running a Facebook ad, what are you driving them to in terms of like when you say calls? What is that? Is it an appointment at their house? Is it a phone call with you? What are you driving them to?
Yeah, so it's a free cleaning voucher to a landing page. They just give name, number, email. That sends them to a little indoctrination funnel, and then they can self-schedule via text, and then I'm calling them in 60 seconds. And pretty much everybody's getting called in 60 seconds. If not, if it's overnight, they can self-schedule. And that's it. So I'm calling them, and they're not answering. If they do answer, then thank God. But
are you telling them in the indoctrination period and on the landing page that you're going to call them within 60 seconds?
No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not.
I'm just
getting them to text.
Just change that one thing. So just tell them, because then they're expecting the call. So just say, hey, I will call you within 60 seconds, and then you got to make sure that there's some reason why they need to pick up. So like to redeem your voucher, I will call you within 60 seconds of you filling out this form, and then you'll get it. Because they're filling out the form because they want the free, they want the free voucher. But what they don't want is an interrupted phone call. So I would do two things. I would split test. One, just change the fact that throughout that lead nurturing process and or the landing page, tell them what you're going to do so that it's not a surprise. And then I would also test, maybe they don't want a phone call because if they're sitting on the toilet at work thinking about their cleaning, they don't want to answer your phone call. Can you do that with your text? Can you send them a link that has a video that's interactive? For like example, like on Loom, you can have a link that's there. They can have payment, the whole 9 yards. So I would play with both of those because if the actual constraint is them not answering the phone, that's solvable.
That's genius. I love that. Well, let me not take up too much of your time. That's super valuable. You're the best. We watch all your shows. Thank you so much.
You got it. All right, next on the show, we got calling in from 225. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, Mike. This is Robert. I do a pool cleaning and maintenance business in Louisiana.
Let's go.
I have two different directions that I guess we could take this in. So just kind of based on the sermon you gave before opening it up, I guess I do have a question about deciding on which input to jam on when it comes to developing your customer acquisition. So we've dealt pretty much mostly with inbound organic ranking on Google. We've set up, obviously, Google LSA. you work on getting reviews. That's definitely an input, getting more reviews and trying to do that. But when it comes to one of those channels like door hangers, outreach, ads, where you have one input that, you could use the rule of 100 on and really jam to see what your returns would look like. I've not really nailed down what that one would be. We mostly relied on inbound.
Okay. It's like, I would say
Sorry, can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Cool. Yeah, like I would say before you choose a channel, if you're kind of like, hey, I haven't really tested much, like I'm most focused on inbound, I would actually first look at your website. And the reason I say that is because if you're going to start spending money on ads, this is for anyone listening, is like your conversion on your website could double or triple by just changing a few things, like having the estimate request form above the fold, having it where it's mobile friendly. Like there's just a few things. So I think you've probably done that, just off of my intuition of talking to you, you've probably optimized your website. But for anyone listening, do that before you spend $1 on ads. Whether you got to get someone on Upwork, whether you got to get a designer, we have home service web design, but like it's a function of fix that first, because any dollar you spend, a lot of times it's a couple $1,000s a month or whatever you're spending could be doubled in impact by just changing your conversion rate. Once they get to your website, they got to convert. And then if you have a really bad website or it's not a good converting website, use the send message button or call to action on the Facebook ad, for example, so that they don't actually go to your website, or the Facebook lead form doesn't go to your website. But if you're driving them to your website, make sure your website is actually optimized for web conversions. But with all of that said, give me a little more clarity, or are you looking for a specific channel that you want me to kind of push you in?
So well, the one that I would like to kind of double click on would be you seem to be pretty big on door hangers. Now I know with lawns, landscaping, every house is kind of potentially a customer as opposed to pool cleaning and maintenance. I am running right now. I'm working on getting scraped information on pool owner addresses, even trying to get addresses. Email addresses, phone numbers to do cold outreach. But that's definitely one way to go. I'd like to do door hangers, but with how few and far between some houses with pools are, to just trying to be as surgical and efficient with your process as possible, while also acknowledging that it's going to take a ton of volume to get any type of result from anything. I just wonder if you have a thought on that, on a pool cleaning business's maybe ideal channel of acquisition.
How many of your leads that come in are dirty pools or look horrible?
So, that's definitely seasonal. Right now it's probably a little bit less, but I'd say maybe a quarter, when it's the
I thought it'd be
bigger
less.
part of the season. It could be up to 3/4.
I would create a corrugated cutout plastic thing that you hold that has your branding on it, has some sort of slogan that is related to your brand, that they hold in front of their after photo of the before and after of cleaning out their pool. I would then do that 10 to 20 times over the course of a season. I would do that on my organic Instagram, Facebook, and I would tag them. And then I would take the best performing 5 in terms of people like that started liking it, commenting it, sharing it, etc. And I'd run ads against those on Facebook.
Okay, I really like the sound of that. Let me try to say it back so I make sure we're on the same page, and I'll listen back to it. So what kind of a cutout are we talking about?
Yeah, so like what's the name of your pool service?
Pool Partners.
Pool Partners?
Yes, Pool Partners.
Okay. Digging a little deeper as to why people hire you, they're obviously trying to save time. Are most of them the people
So our core values are communication, competence, consistency. Best customers are people that have been burned by bad service before, kind of understand the hassle and just want people that, do the things that the typical home service business isn't doing: answer the phone, communicate, show up professionally, and do the stuff.
Yeah, so like I would say, if I had to guess, 90% of your homeowners that you're servicing are married. Is that correct?
That's an interesting data point. I don't necessarily have that. I'd probably say 2/3 to 3/4.
So I would probably use the language around pool partners, around something like let pool partners help your partner spend more time with you, or something along those lines. Like take the partner aspect of them and their spouse, because what you're going to do is get them in a picture holding the sign in front of their pool. Right. And you can make it really cheeky if you wanted to, like we're adding a partner to our relationship. That'd be a little weird. But like if you want social media to take off, you're going to tie in the partner aspect with the fact that a husband and wife are holding a sign in front of their pool. And then you just incentivize them for the picture. Be like, hey, if you do the picture, the first service is on us. You then get 10 or 15 of those. And then you basically just put them on your Facebook page and then see which ones take off organically, and then put ads only behind the ones that take off organically.
Roderick, so just you think that like organic content is that's the channel is content.
It is a way to validate. It is a way to validate the creative before you then go spend money on it, because you haven't spent money on stuff before. So I don't want you to go do Facebook ads and like it doesn't work. So go use your channel on.
I've done some. Yeah, I've done some to try to get some reviews on the page when it was newer. It does work. It's not not something that doesn't work. I got bottleneck. Sorry, I did interrupt. I got bottlenecks being the person that does sales, a good bit of fulfillment as well, at least in the initial few weeks, and then getting them set up with the team. But so that was kind of the thing, just being bottlenecked by demand and then not having the input set up. We're working better on that now, but I like where your head's at. I think organic content is probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, you have a really good before and after, given the fact that 25% of people have that problem already. When they call it's a bad looking pool, you take a picture of that. That's the before, the after with them holding the sign. Pool Partners is on the sign. And the reason I say that is because this is what we do with our gym at Anytime Fitness. We create 3 organic posts a week. I just simply look at the ones that get shared the most. And those are the ones I run ads against. And I take the same creative, take the same copy, and then I run ads against it, knowing that's going to get shared, liked, and propagate beyond just what I pay for. Because if people comment, if they share an ad, that's free reach. All right, next caller is coming in from 620. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, Mike. This is Alfredo from Noah Sprinklers. I wanted to ask you a question about marketing. We're a sprinkler company that's about to hit our winterization full swing. And I wanted to see what you would say is the top things that we need to do to get as many winterizations as we can. We're trying to build a website, but it's going to take 4 weeks. So it's going to be a bit, and it's not going to have as much SEO because it's the first time we've ever had one. Mm-hmm. But we're putting magnets on our trucks. And I wanted to kind of like a ballpark of how much I should spend and what I absolutely definitely need to do.
Yeah, so I think this is a great candidate for Facebook ads because there's lots of pain. So there's literally a few week window of time where people need this service. And so whenever there's acute pain, you can get very cheap leads. Then just a function of the reason you get cheap leads is because everyone that sees the ad, assuming your targeting is half decent, needs the service at a very acute period of time of the year. Then you just need a system to be able to take cheap leads that usually aren't great quality, but then turn them into quality. So for example, whether that be, I would also say, just use lead forms on Facebook so you don't have to worry about the website, or use the send message. So one of the best things you could do is simply say on your ad, hey, I'm in your area, make it very local feeling because it's a small business. And you talking to the camera, very much selfie style. Click the link, click the button below, and send me a DM on Facebook Messenger, and I'll make sure I get you prioritized first thing next week, for example. But use the send message. You will have great. I would also make sure that thing's dinging. Like the faster you get back on that Facebook message, the difference between a great conversion and a horrible conversion when you use that CTA for send message is how fast you message them back. I would also say you can automate some of this by when they send you a message, the bot sends them something to kind of get them in the funnel. And if you're like, well, I don't have a website, Great. You could send them to a Google form. You could set up a lead page from a site like leadpages.com. It might be leadpages.net or a site like that where just you set up a form and like your logo. And a lot of times you'll get like free for up to like 5 landing pages. So I would not worry about the landing page though, because it sounds to me like if you just ran a Facebook lead form or Facebook Messenger as the call to action inside of a Facebook ad during this period of time where the next 3 weeks is your time to do this, I believe you will get leads somewhere between $10 and $20, assuming it all depends on your creative. Like that could be 50 if you do a horrible picture, a horrible video, like there's just no connection with them whatsoever. But if your opening statement is, attention so-and-so homeowners, my name is so-and-so, I just started this sprinkler cleaning business, I have all these expertise, I don't want you to have broken pipes this coming winter once things freeze. We got a short window of time. You got to get in now. Click the button below, send me a direct message, and I'll get in your property as soon as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Would you consider Google Ads or anything else, or just focus on Facebook as our main one to push?
I think when you have acute pain, you can get so many leads. And right now, it's not like you're overwhelmed with leads. I'll say this. If you go do Facebook and you get so many leads and they're like $10 showing up on your doorstep and you can't even get to the leads and you're like running behind, it's a day since you sent them the message, you're running behind on jobs, then go to Google where there's higher intent and there's going to be a higher close rate. So if I had to guess, I'm going to make up numbers, so forgive me. I'm going to guess that your percentage close rate of people that send you a DM on Facebook or fill out a Facebook lead form might be 15 to 20%. On Google, that could be 60%. But it's very unlikely you're going to get leads for $10 on Google. Especially because they're going to be going to a website that isn't even built. Like you're driving people from your Google ad to a website that doesn't look good. You're not, like the conversions will be horrible. So I would probably stick with Facebook inside of native to their platform, which is the lead forms as well as the direct message inside of Facebook ads. You will get so many leads for everyone out there. CTA, send message, button below, because people are in app. It's very quick. It's very easy. And you can set up bots to make it seem very much organic in terms of response. All right. We are taking a couple more calls. Next caller is coming on from 984. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Yo, what's going on?
What's up?
Hey, I was just giving you a quick call. I was curious, what do you think is the biggest mistake that people make scaling from the 100 to the 500?
In terms of what area of business? Facebook ads? Or are we talking ads or are we talking just in general?
Just in general. What do you see that makes people spiral out of control when they're scaling from those ranges?
I think the biggest problem that I see is people trying to work on the business far too soon. If you're going from $100,000 to $500,000, you are still working in the business. And everyone gets so wrapped up, I gotta work on the business. I need to work on the business. It is a function of a sliding scale, which means it's not I'm working on the business and I'm out of the truck and I'm not in operations versus I'm in the truck every day working 10 hours a day. There is a scale. There is a sliding scale, and I believe that the vast majority of people that read too many books or read too many podcasts or even watch my content, like, I got to build systems and I got to be the architect of my business. Like, whoa. You are $200,000 in annual revenue. You have one employee. You need to be out in the field producing revenue. I did a turnaround show last month for a lawn care business. I believe it was out in Utah. I forget. I think it was Utah. And he had $150,000 annual revenue, 2 employees, and he never touched the mowers, never touched the weed whackers, never touched the truck. He spent 100% of his time off the truck and working on the business. And he had done that for 3 years. And I said, look, this is the time from 100,000 to 500,000, you work in the business. You do most of your day is spent doing the business. Now, as you go from 100,000 to 500,000, there's going to be this sliding scale of, okay, now maybe 5, 10%, 10, 15, 20% of my day is spent working on the business, creating systems, doing sales, creating better operations manual, creating recordings for your admin person that you're hiring, creating better checklists for your team, better systems inside your software. That starts to become a larger part of your day, but it's definitely not 100%. And I think what a lot of people will do is they'll hear me or someone else talk about working on your business instead of in it, but they'll do it far too soon. As a rule of thumb, $750,000 in annual revenue, I give you the check mark. Again, this is very broad. If you're over 750,000 annual revenue, as a very, very broad stroke, I say you can be off the truck. As over 1.5 million in revenue, as a very broad stroke, I say it's possible for you to be the architect of the business and be out of daily operations, which means the business runs without you and there are managers in place. So 750,000, until you're there, I think that some percentage of your day should be contributing to revenue. Even if that's just during your off season, produce revenue. If you're at 400, 500,000, like still produce revenue. Once you get above that, that's when I can say year round, you're not touching doing actual any revenue producing work. And then I am waiting until 1.5 and beyond before I say you can be out of daily operations. You got an admin manager, you got an operations manager, you got a sales manager, and they can run the business without you. All right, next call is coming from 8. Oh, wait, we already got this one. Sorry, I can't. I only got a couple more. I can't have a repeat caller. Next call is coming in from 646. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Mike, this is Divya from Huntsville. Just got a question on our business. So we do poor lawn maintenance. We have roughly 400 or 500 customers, and we've got all those customers from Google local service ads.
Cool.
And the good thing about local service ads is it's working really well. The bad thing is we can't really put the throttle, turn the throttle on them, because it doesn't really matter how much budget you send. Looks like they decide how many leads to send you. Mm-hmm. Now, I've made all the mistakes that you've talked about, giving up too early on Facebook ads and door hangers, So I guess my question, Mike, is, obviously I need to get those reps in and try Facebook and door hangers again. But what is sort of the cost of acquisition, like, that you look at? Or how do you look at it? Like, let's say you're doing a 5,000 door hanger run, do you look at what conversion you got and decide, like, hey, it's good to try again? Or how do you think about, like, cost of acquisition and how that plays into how you decide if you've tried hard enough on some of these channels?
Yeah, I think the try hard enough part is very hard to quantify. I think what I'm looking for is improvement. So if I ran door hangers and I was getting a 0.1% return or 0.1% response rate, it was a 1 in 1,000 are responding, I would probably look at it as a data point, and then I would do it again and try to make changes based upon the 5 things that I learned after that first campaign. And if doing that went from 0.1% to 0.4%, I got myself improvement. And is 0.4% great? Maybe not. But I just 4x my return. And so I'm actually looking, when I look at tests, I am not looking at the absolute value in terms of conversion rate, cost per lead. I am looking at, can I improve this? Because I know if I add time to improvement, eventually it will outperform. And so whenever you start door hangers, you start the Facebook ads, just have clean data. Have a funnel. It's like, I paid cost per click, cost per lead, customer acquisition cost. And then how much did I make on them in the first 90 days? That'd be a starting point. If you do that one time, great. I have data. Do it again based upon the 5 things you will learn inevitably during that campaign. And I think you're smart enough to say, oh man, if we just change the door hangers, we realize we can deliver twice as many if we do it this way. We realize that people call way more often if we put the phone number at the top. Oh, we realized if we did a QR code, we get more people doing it because they don't want to call. Oh, if we do text, like, these are all the things you start realizing, but that comes over the course of time. So I am looking for improvement before I jump ship. Now, if I did door hangers and I literally got not a single one, maybe I'd say, like, let's go try a different channel. But really what I'm trying to do is nail the numbers so I have a comparative data set to compare my next test to. Does that make sense?
And that makes sense. So basically, when you're making a plan for these channels, let's say for 26, you're looking to get in 3 or 4 iterations in on both those channels, and basically making sure the monitoring is really tight on all the things that are going on.
And what I said at the beginning,
thank you, Mike. That's excellent.
100%. Yeah. What I said at the beginning is really important, and that is, as much as I would agree, do a few campaigns, I would say the reason that the best of the best have done this for so many years is because they understand the seasonality that plays into their metrics. And what I mean by that is, if you did 3 door hanger campaigns, you're like, well, my return is actually going down. Well, if you're on the tail end of demand for a season, we should expect that. And so that's why I think multiple years and you allowing you to see the demand curve, that's seasonal. You're not changing that. So I actually need to compare last March to this March. and then be able to have a clean data set. So that's why I always think very much in terms of like 3 years of tests. And I know, like, does that mean I'll do 3 tests, one every March? No. It means I'm going to probably do a March, an April, a May, and June. Each one of those, I'm probably iterating and improving my ad set. I'm improving my creative. I'm improving my offer. I'm improving my design of said door hanger or flyer or postcard or my landing page. I'm optimizing it. But then I'm going to compare that data to last year, because in home services, so much of our data is so seasonal dependent. And so to think that, oh, my ads are getting better because my percentage went up. No, you're going into spring rush. And so you've got to be very careful about taking data and what I just said, and that is like, oh, it went from 0.1% to 0.4%. That could simply because the week before it rained and this week it's sunny and you're going into the spring rush. So be very careful about comparing ad sets or ad campaigns against each other in a very small window of time. I'm always looking for multiple years. And when I look at the door hangers that we've done in Augusta, from the day one, that being like, I just like cringe when I look at the original designs compared to like, it's all the little stuff. It's like, okay, use QR code, use email also. Why? Because some people don't want to call. They don't want to text you. So I'm going to have it on there, but I'm not going to make it prominent. And I'm going to have the price, and I'm going to cross it out, and I'm going to circle things. I'm going to use a different color of Sharpie. These are all the little things you get to eventually, but it literally took us 5-6 years of doing that over and over again. Last call for the day, coming from 405. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Mike, I have a few questions. I have a weed control and fertilization business, and we also do mowing as well. This was my first year in business, so we're doing just under $100,000 in revenue. But we have about 10,000 in the bank. I say we, it's just me. 10,000 in the bank. And then I didn't go to college. I just graduated in 24. So I have $20,000 in that college fund that I can pull from. And so my question for you was, having basically access to $30,000, what is the smartest way I can spend that money? And what percent should I put to marketing?
Cool. So I would reverse this. I would first say, am I profitable if I was to hire someone? Because the last thing I want you to do is scale an unprofitable model that once you hire someone immediately doesn't make you money. So that'd be the first thing. I'd run a bunch of numbers on that. Then I would set aside, then I would first make sure that the thing that I'm driving my traffic to is my website. And you're like, well, I'm not driving traffic to it. They're actually going to call me. People check out your website. And so the number highest leverage thing you can do is have a great designed website that actually converts. Then I would then have a budget for testing. I would say, I'm going to spend some money to get a benchmark across 4 channels. You're like, well, doesn't that go against what you said in terms of go deep? No, you have no data. So figure out a data point for 4 different channels. You know, run 5,000 door hangers will cost you $500 or $600 to print, and you will deliver them in, a week or 2. So like, great, do that. At the same time, you're running Facebook ads, you're running Google ads, and you're spending, let's just call it $1,000 in each of those, maybe $1,500. Now, does that mean that one of those channels underperforms and is bad? No, you could likely optimize it and make it better over the course of time. But I'm going to take the winner and I'm going to squeeze the juice from that one. Because at your ad budget, you don't have $15,000 a month, $20,000 a month. Like, okay, I'm going to do 3 of the channels and I'll squeeze from all 3. That'd be perfect, but that'd be a huge budget. So your budget is likely $1,000 to $2,000 a month tops, even in growth mode. And so I've got to figure out one channel, and to have the best bang for your buck when you have a small budget, I'm going to first test all the channels and see which one is the lowest hanging fruit. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, sir. And I have one more question if you have time.
Go for it.
So we're in an area that not a lot, like the suburb I'm in is huge. But they're developing this one area that not a lot of other companies are in. And I'm getting my shops over there. We have really good brand awareness, I would say. We're very consistent. Great website, great branding on the trucks. The yard signs look just the same. And so I know how important branding is. But kind of the marketing, before you said all of that, the way I was going to market was really hit this small area really hard. With door hangers, they're already seeing my truck in the area, yard signs kind of on the intersections, every door direct mail, and then, targeting the Facebook ads over there. Would it not be smart to spread myself out that thin? or should I try it in just little doses?
At your size of business, you're going to make a decision on your service area based upon where your customers are coming from. It's not like you have $1 million business and you're thinking about moving to a new service area. So what you can do is simply, where do the customers come from? When you run ads and you include both service areas, does 80% of the customers come from one side? And if so, you cut off the other one because it's only 20, 30% of revenue now or less, and it's small, and let's just call it $20,000 or $30,000. Great, let's go where we had a lower customer acquisition cost. We had way more leads pouring in. When I ran the ad across both areas, one area over-delivered. Great. I don't know if it's the one that you're currently living in or the one where your current shop is. Regardless, if they're far apart, I don't want to be building a business at $400,000 where I'm driving 30, 60 minutes in between service areas, especially with the services that you're offering. And so I would highly recommend see where the leads start coming from when you run this test. So when you run the test, I think it'll be very telling in terms of, especially if you consolidate that into like a 3 to 6 week window and you're running channel, like saying spending $3 to $4 grand across a few channels, it'll be very obvious that all the leads are coming from one. And if it's not, if it's really spread out, then you gotta ask yourself, like, where do I want the business to be in the future? Am I trying to boil the ocean instead of just like, let's lock in on one, do it well, and then when I have the resource to be able to get a second shop or have a satellite location, then I'll start this other one so I can actually do it efficiently and profitably. Because the fastest way to grow revenue is always to increase your service area. It's always to increase the number of services you offer. And so you will make more revenue if you do both of these. And that is why most people will have way too large of a service area, because on paper, you can have a bigger business. But if you just took the puddle and took one of these service areas and doubled down on it and really started to penetrate that market, your strong branding would actually become top of mind because people would see it enough times. Again, more and better before new. All right, we're going to cut it there. Thank you all so very much for hopping on the live stream. I appreciate you tremendously, and we will do more of these in the future. I appreciate your support in making this happen. We are hiring someone full-time to help me with these live streams, to cut them up, turn them into shorts, and assist with me, what I'm doing with all this, all myself, and managing the queue, etc. It'll be much more professional in the future. I love you all, and we'll see you tonight. Not tonight. I'm going to church tonight. I will not see you tonight. I will see you the next time we do live stream. Take care, everyone.